I have been kind of on a hiatus for a while because for those of you who don't know, my original Toy Addict 26 channel got shut down by the fine folks at Google, and here I am back with a vengeance, my new Toy Addict channel, and today I have very special guest, my buddy from South Africa. You know him mainly as We Want More Thundercats on Instagram and social channels. He goes by the name of Egmond. I know I'm not pronouncing it right, but how's it going, man?
It's going well. You don't have to worry about pronouncing it correctly. It's all good.
Yeah, so I'm going to be I'm going to be talking about Thundercats here today, and ironically, I don't have a lot of the recent stuff that came out. I have only received the Mandora 5.0 Wave, 5.2, whatever. I received her bike, the electrocharger, and Mandora herself. I did not have the YouTube channel at the time, so I did like a live stream on Instagram and stuff. Really happy with the product. Um, it's an amazing time to be a Thundercats fan right now because we have a plethora of items and amazing stuff to look forward to that has been shown and that's on pre-order right now. So I'm just like super, super excited. And I know you sharing that. You recently spoke to Brian about all the goodies that are coming out. You got your Thunder Tank, which I see there, and you've been proudly displaying it and shooting videos with it.
Yes.
I can't wait to get that thing. It's a monster. Um, I have plans for that thing. I literally want to take it outdoors and do outdoor photography with it. Like I have some big plans for it, but I ordered mine through Sideshow, and they got them in batches, so they haven't received mine yet. I'm hoping to have my shipment notification sometime next week. So, I'm jealous.
That's strange. I
Looking at
got mine through Sideshow as well,
you did?
ironically. Yes, I
Wow.
did,
So I guess
because
you got the first batch, maybe
probably, yeah.
did you do like the flex pay thing or you just paid it outright?
Yeah, yeah.
That's probably what it
I
is. They probably shipped it out to people that paid it outright. Because I was on FlexPay, I shifted mine to pre-order for the last payment so that it would ship as soon as it came in. Because they had scheduled my last payment for today, but no, for tomorrow. But I checked in with them this week, and they're like, "We got a shipment, and we are getting another shipment, and as soon as it's here, we'll send you an email." I haven't gotten an email, so I don't think they're going to ship mine tomorrow. I hope they do, but man, I just can't wait to get that thing in hand. It's a beauty, man. Talk to me.
Well, I have to say, the moment that I got my notification, I was like over the moon because I wasn't expecting it until March, which is now. But I actually thought it would probably arrive around April or May.
Yeah,
I didn't know how far behind Sideshow would be versus the others. So when I got that notification, I was like, "Damn, man, this is happening now!" And because I had seen it come out from Big Bad and from Entertainment Earth, and it was the most exciting thing, but I'm extremely impatient, especially when an item starts shipping. So when I get that notification, you're going to be charged your shipping, and it's going to come to you now in the next few days. I'm like checking my mails every few hours. I'm refreshing, logging in, see if it's been processed or what's happening on the back end of Sideshow. Nothing is happening, and then the next moment is bang, there goes the charge, and I'm like, oh, it's on its way. And I was tracking everything like daily. So many times a day I was checking, okay, which country is it in now? Because it shipped with DHL, and they had a massive bargain on shipping to South Africa, which was only $25.
oh,
And I'm like over the moon because Snake Mountain cost me $400 to ship to
dude,
South Africa
yeah, $25.
versus yes, and I'm like, this is a beast, and $25, and I'm like, I'm taking this. Well, at the moment when I purchased it, there was no notice of shipping or anything, but a few months down the line, they had this thing on their website, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, look, they've got this $25 shipping." And I contacted them, and they said, "Yeah, no, it applies to your order." So I was like, "Yeah, that's impossible." But I emailed them, I got it in writing, and I said, well, "If this thing changes, I've got it in writing. You told me it's $25. It was $25. They kept the word." So I was like, I was ecstatic.
Let me ask
And
you, how long from the point it left Sideshow to the time you got it? How long was that
it
transit?
was a week.
A
It was
week?
a week.
Wow.
Not even a week. Actually, it shipped on the Tuesday and it arrived on the Monday. And
DHL is fast, man. Let me tell you,
yeah,
I order some stuff from Hobby Link Japan, and I get all my stuff through DHL. I screwed up one time, and I did FedEx International, and they lost my package. They lost it, and then you just like they wipe their hands clean of responsibility. And thankfully, Hobby Link gave me a store credit, but I'll never use anything but DHL for international. They're super fast. They're super fast. I
yeah.
feel like from Japan to me, I get stuff from DHL. It takes about 3 to 4 business days, more or less.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a week to South Africa, dude. That's
No,
great.
it was 5 business days, because I mean the Saturday and the Sunday didn't count, so that it was 5 business days. So when it arrived there, I was sitting here. There's that meme where that guy from the Mandalorian is sitting or standing in his pool and looking up and down. I think it's Pedro Pascal. I think it's him waiting for something, and then people put underneath there, "You're waiting for your parcel to arrive," and he was just standing there waiting. And I was like looking at the gate and checking my status, because that morning it showed that it arrived in Durban at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I
Yeah.
was like, okay, Durban is just 1 hour from here, so it has to arrive at the depot today. And then it arrived there, and then I was like, okay, please let it go out. And then half an hour later, I got the notification it's on its way. So I was literally waiting, looking at the gate, and when it arrived, I was so excited. It's a bloody big box. It's massive.
Yeah.
People are not exaggerating when they are picking this thing up and they're like carrying it up the stairs. It's a
Oh,
big
no,
box.
yeah.
It's massive
I can
and it's
imagine.
heavy.
What I love is how much care Super 7 took in packing it, because it's like 3 boxes, right? It's
Yes,
almost like
yes.
3 boxes to get to the Thunder Tank art box, right?
No, I've got 2 boxes, but it's the big outer box and then the inner box and then obviously the actual box. But
Right.
there's padding like around the box inside there's the
Yeah,
first
the
box,
total
and then inside
protection.
the second box as well. So there's a
Yeah,
lot of padding
that's amazing,
that
and
protects it.
I'm glad that they did that, because I've seen pictures of people's boxes with holes and scratches and dents, because man, these carriers, they throw our stuff around. They don't care. I
Yes.
used to work at UPS when I was really young, and they would just get like 18-inch TV, not 18-inch, that's small, like huge plasma TVs, and just throw the boxes across the way, and they would play sports with our boxes. So having seen that firsthand, I always cringe when I have like a very expensive, heavy item being shipped, because I'm worried that it'll be damaged in transit, you know?
I'm actually looking at my box now. I've got like 6 holes on this box. I've
Really?
got my laptop on this box because it's so high. I haven't put it away yet. It's still in my office, and I've got like six like literal holes in there, and the one side is actually torn open. So
Oh my God.
they tried to glue it together again, and one of the pads fell off on the outside. But this box, when I picked it up, I said to the guy, "Well, why is my box looking like this?" And I was rather worried, because I know what my Snake Mountain box had a hole in it, and the actual packaging inside it went straight through. So there's a hole on the front, and not on the back. It's on the front. Unfortunately, it's on the front of the box.
That's
But this thing, when I saw that there was a box inside, and then obviously the thing inside itself with plastic and all those padding, I was so relieved. They really did a fantastic job. I think they learned a lot from the Snake Mountain shipping,
there's
and
only one
this is
thing
excellent.
There's only one thing that I dislike on the Thunder Tank, and I don't know if you'll agree with me, but the in the original solicitations and mock-ups, they didn't show that, but at the end, they decided to create these peg holes for the plastic cover to like peg in. So it has these holes now, which visually it kind of like it kind of gets in the way with of the overall look. Now you got these four peg holes there. Like, what do you think about that? Are you like,
I've seen that. I've heard that I actually heard about it long before I actually saw it on my own. I didn't notice it the first time because it had that grey cover on.
hmm,
I took it off. I didn't notice it then, but later on, I actually saw that there were these peg holders. Well, it's basically for the thing to slot into. So when you put the glass cover or the plain grey one on, you don't see that. But if you take it off, then obviously you see that.
yeah,
So I've heard people are requesting maybe have a little peg or something that you can plug in
yeah.
there
They could
just
have
to
put like
close it
little
off.
little toppers to like put them in there just
Yeah,
to cover the holes. Just because
but
it's such a clean vehicle. You know what I mean? So if you were just to get rid of those holes, it's kind of like a little bit of an eyesore. Um,
well, I've got my mouth of the front lifted up, so I actually don't see it because when it's lifted up, it's you don't see behind it, and these basically just fall underneath it, so you can't really see it depending on which angle you look at it. So I get that it is an issue for some people. It doesn't bother me. I'm not. I'm just too excited about this bloody big thing. It's so cool. It's really.
I
I had to change my whole display around and move my
It's
laptop from the
awesome.
one side to the other side because it's so big. I didn't expect it to be as big. And I mean, we've seen how big it is, and
Yeah.
people have said, "No, this is Photoshop. These pictures aren't real. It can't be this. It is this big. It's massive." And you know what? I've heard that Joss is a small guy, and I know I'm a big guy, so. I mean, for me, it's bloody big. It's a massive thing. It's cool.
No, the cool thing is that you have it set up next to Snake Mountain there, and it's not like whatever furniture you have, it's not coming off the edge. It's sitting on there good because I guess it's deep. That furniture you have is deep, so it gives it pretty much holds the tank. That's going to be a challenge for a lot of people to find a piece of furniture that you can actually sit the tank on, especially like the way you have it, like at an angle. That's going to be tough for me. I know personally, I don't have furniture where I can put my Thunder tank on. I was thinking about doing something like I was going to buy a coffee table that's all glass with the mid portion and kind of put it in there, almost have it like encased in glass. And I was going to put like dirt or sand in there to make like a turf and have the tank in there and just have it be like my centerpiece like in the living room or in my nerd cave, I
I
don't
think that's what a lot
know.
of people are going to start doing as well because that it is so big. It is really massive, and I mean, I'm lucky that I've got a fairly big table that I work on, but this is not the standard office table that you've got in your house or in at your office. So you're gonna need something proper to display it on. It is just it's big. I mean, I've got a friend that had to he planned everything on his display shelf, but it doesn't fit, so he had to change everything around just to make it try and fit, and it's still falling over on the one side because it's not just big like this, it's big like this.
There's this one
It's
dude, I'm
wide.
sure you saw his stuff. I forget his name right now. He made a freaking diorama of Third Earth with the candy fruit trees and everything. Did you see that?
I think so. He also had a
Super Dave.
He-Man
Super Dave.
Super Dave. Yes.
Oh my
Yes,
god,
I
the
love his
diorama?
dioramas.
Dude,
Yes.
I'm gonna like reach out to him and ask him to make me one of those because that shit is beautiful with the candy fruit trees and the terrain and the tank. I was like, wow, that's what I would picture having my display. So you can have not just a tank, but have like an actual environment that the tank could be in. You know what I mean? But I just can't wait to get it, man. I The LJN Lionel is another piece that every time I look at it, I see reviews, I see your review. It's like it takes me back to when I was a little kid, man, because the colors, the way they sculpted the hair, they did a different hairpiece. So it's not a new those the heads are new and the claw shield is new. And then everything else is repainted. I know some people are like, "Oh, I wanted the ring," and the one thing, and I told Brian in one of my interviews was, I wish they would have done the blister cards, man. If they would have blister carded Lionel the way you did that comp art, wow, that would have been like, I bet you those Lionels would have sold out. Like they wouldn't be available anywhere right now if they would have
Yeah,
done
no,
that.
I agree. I do. I understand the reasoning behind why they didn't do it. I mean, this is standard packaging that they do have already that's ready for them to go and for them to work on that. So I get that business side of things. But as a kid who grew up seeing that blister packaging, I know the Ultimates that they did for Motu a while back. Those were exactly like the ones that were released way back. And I think those were quite awesome because that looked like what I saw in the stores. If they did that for Thundercats, that if maybe they could still do an exclusive, just a few limited items
I
like
think
that.
they should revisit, and I don't see why not. They could do like, like a Comic-Con exclusive where they're putting them, in a blister card, and it's like, hey, you already have these, but if you want this packaging, here they are. So, and
You know
maybe
what I
ornament,
think?
like the ring and stuff, throw that in,
Yes.
you know?
Give him orange hair or maroon hair. I mean, he had these different hair colors and different releases. I mean, I had an orange haired one and not just red, and then I had a one that had darker red hair, like maroon almost. So they can also play with the colors and give him just a different shade to make it unique as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I I really like the Mumra also. I think the Mumra looks really cool. Also reminds me of the old Mumra when I was a little kid. The colors are not exactly, I know some people nitpick, but that really ugly, angry face, it just really stands out for me. I really like it. Um, I think I like the head uncrowned better than crowned. I don't know why. It just looks better because the crown, it looks like some kind of weird shape because his head is more like an egg head, based on the toy. So I get the reason why it's like that, but I don't know why the bald
I
one.
can tell you why. Because you probably lost your helmet quite a bit. It was somewhere in a basket or something. I mean, when I look at that, I can see when my helmet falls off
Right.
of my Mamra, I wouldn't notice it immediately. I was reshuffling things at the office the other day, and I didn't notice that it had fallen off, and it was under the bed. So I was like, "Shit! Okay, where is this thing?" I was like going crazy. Maybe my dogs had eaten it. I was so worried about it because it's an expensive piece of plastic. That,
Yeah.
but it's that is what we saw a lot of times. And I mean, if you go search for Mamra now, you'll probably find more pictures of him as a baldy as opposed to having his helmet on.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The Chitara, um, and the Monkeyan, they're cool, but to me, the standouts in the wave are Lion-O and Mumra. Um, Monkeyan, I mean, that's how he was, the toy form. It's just he looks more like a gorilla. He's just kind of just the color deco. I'm not a big fan of the color deco. Chitara looks very vintage. Um, I know my friend in particular, hopefully it's not everybody, he had like the paint on the where the hinge joint is, like the paint was flaking off. So I was like, oh my God, I hope mine doesn't have that, because it's just I love the Ultimates, but I think they need to work a little on QC as far as the paint, particularly the Silverhawks. I'm a little worried about how the skin is going to look on the Silverhawks. But there's two things that I think they should do, and they should kind of do like an overhaul on Ultimates in general. They should update their bodies so that they're a little bit more posable. And they should do away with those ugly knee joints, man. I really don't like those knee joints where it's like a cap over the knee and then the knee rubs. You know what I mean? It's just it like with Mandora, thankfully she sits on the bike good, but you could have still been able to do a little bit more better posing on a bike if she had a different type of knee joint, like maybe they would have given her double knees or they would have done something different. I just feel that with how robust Ultimates is, um, and the price tag to justify it, I think they really need to spruce up articulation to justify and to keep people like engaged, because I know for a fact a lot of my friends, they're like, I love how they look on the computer, but I'm not happy with how limited the posability is on some of them. You know what I mean? Mumra was a very versatile figure. He's great, but there's certain figures like I feel like Grun, they should revisit him. I feel like he was a mashup. Like they gave him certain aspects of the boots to make him look taller, but then his physique doesn't quite fit like the physique of his height. And I don't know if I'm nitpicking too much or you understand what I'm saying, but like Grun looks off. If you look at him, it's like his torso is too thin and he should be a bulkier guy. I feel like Grun should have gotten the treatment of like how Super 7 is handling bigger characters, where they're coming in a bigger box. They might cost a little more. I think Grun should have been a beefier, larger character. Maybe not as big as Mumra, but he should have been more like 100% sculpt. He kind of looked like they Frankensteined parts together. You know what I mean? And I think that was a Mattel mold. That was still something that got handed off by Mattel to Super 7 and they just produced it. It wasn't fully produced by Super 7. But I feel like Grun being such a crucial character in Thundercats lore that he should definitely deserve a revisit. What do you think about that?
I think they will revisit him probably when we get an LJN version of him. I have a very strong feeling that we might see him soon as an LJN version, because I mean, if you compare the toy versus the toon, that's like worlds apart. He doesn't look like that,
Right.
and I think that maybe if they want to, they can adjust something here and there. I don't know. I know a lot of people complained about the shoulder pads, the whole body armor thing. That was something that you could put over and take it off and replace it, obviously, with the one with the Thundercats insignia on. To me personally, I was quite happy just to get Groon. I don't collect many other lines. I only collect Ultimates. So I'm not as clued up with other toys, probably because I don't like that. I'm not that kind of collector. I don't have any Marvel or any other types of toys. You're gonna laugh at me, but I don't collect them. Collecting toys on this side of the world is expensive. You gotta have to either get what they have in the stores, which is extremely limited, or you're gonna have to import them. And importing is expensive. It is, unfortunately, that's part of the hobby. You're gonna have to pay if
But
you want something.
I think if we were somewhere else in the world, you would probably collect other things, right? You would collect like Motu and I mean, not necessarily Marvel, but
Well, I started with Motu basically. My first character that I got was Prince Adam and Orko. So that was the very first one that I got, and I'm more of a cartoon guy, so I collected the Club Grayskull stuff. I don't like the Motu classic side of it, but that's because I prefer the cartoon version. I grew up looking at these toys and thinking, but they don't look like the show. They look different, but that's the mindset of somebody that comes in late. You're not like the person that started with the toys and then eventually the toon came out and you're like, no, but this doesn't match with what I've got. So I get it the flip side of the coin as well. So for me, Thundercats for me as a kid, it was a lot similar to the cartoon. I didn't have a lot of them, but I could see that this is that character. But getting these LJN versions now, they are like, yes, I know some of them are just basic repaints of the bodies, but it's those heads and those smaller pieces like Chitara's arms, the front portions of her arms that changes everything. It's the small things, and I'm like, I cannot believe how much I love this Wave 6. I didn't expect to love it as much, but it's something that Brian said that was so interesting is as a kid, the way that you held the toy back then in your hand. As an adult now, it's basically you've obviously grown and so probably has the toy. I mean, Lino now is basically still the same height. I've seen comparisons with him next to an LJ's one, but having this in your hand now, it's like it takes you back immediately, and I'm thrilled. I know that they had the opportunity to do proper, completely resculpt of these characters. I would have preferred that, sure. I mean, I saw that in that one video that they did a while back, where you could see Tara's boots with the toy boots, and Lino had that rounding on his boots and not these sharp edges as in the show. But it's minor. I mean, they really had a fantastic field day with these Wave 6 characters. As soon as you get yours, we should talk again because these are really they like. Wow, I love them. That's so cool.
I have the Lionel on my pile of loot, and I'm probably gonna ship it, this week. So, are you gonna get the Silverhawks though?
What do you think?
I mean,
it's part of Thundercats. So for me, it's
right?
it's part of it. Yes. I mean, I didn't know about Silverhawks. I don't even know if it was on the TV here in South Africa. I don't know. I never saw it. I never heard of it. It was only much later when I found the internet and I discovered Thundercats again that I saw there was a connection. And then with the 2011 show, obviously there was a Monstar was in there, and one of the tigers was Margot was in there. So I saw that then, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And then I had to go and read up about it because that's what I'm like. I want to find out why and how it works. So then I found out now there was a lot of artwork with all three of the characters, the main characters together, and there were road shows in the US where they did some of these, I suppose. And it was just, well, this is part of the universe. You cannot fight the fact that Monstar appeared in Thundercats 2011, so he is part of the universe. So everybody that goes with him is as well.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of happy that Wave 2 shipped before Wave 1 because I really like the non-armored version of Monstar. He kind of looks like a lion. He looks like a red lion, like a snaggletooth red lion. So
yes.
I really, really like that design. And in one of my recent T-shirt designs, the one that I did that was like a nod to the Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction, I did Monstar originally. It was the Monstar head as a skull, because you know how the album cover is all the bandmates as skulls, right? So I did Monstar on the top, and my friend was like, "Yeah, I know it's Monstar, but I think you're gonna gravitate more fans and stuff if you do G.I. Joe." So I was like, "How do I do G.I. Joe? How do I do Cobra Commander without, he never shows his face?" So then I came up with the idea, let me do him in the Chrome Dome helmet. And then there's a crack going across the visor that exposes a skull. And that's what I went with. But I have plans to do different iterations of that shirt. So I'm going to do one which is like, I think the plan is Limbo in Silverhawks. So I'm going to do one that's like with all, Monstar and all his squad. I want to do one for like Appetite for Thundera, where it's like all the mutants, So I have a lot of different ideas for that. And it's cool because it's like pop culture mashup with iconic music albums and stuff. And that's the kind of like things that I'm doing now with the t-shirt designs and stuff like that. But one thing I want to mention, I watched your review with Brian, and I would have loved to have found out about Alluro, one of my concerns with Alluro is his hairpiece is so long at the back, and then he has the, like, I don't know what you would call them, like the pigtails that hang down or whatever. Like, I hope that they make those like almost like a rubber bandish kind of flexibility.
I think it will be.
Uh,
I think like Pumaras.
yeah, because I don't want that to like hinder the range of motion on
I
the,
think so, yes.
you
I
know.
think they'll do something like that, yes.
He looks amazing, and I'm glad because I've been wanting a Luro. Once they did Lunatax, I wanted a Luro first. I don't know what it is.
Yes, me too.
It's, he's such a cool character, his personality, and it's just like this. The next Lunatic I want for sure is Red Eye. I really want Red Eye, and I know he's
I
gonna.
am thinking he will come next because I personally would like Chilla, but I do think that Red Eye might be next because he's the perfect opportunity to do an LJN version of that unproduced prototype that we never saw. So they could reuse that one later on as an LJN. So it might be good to get him out first so that we can get him an LJN side as well.
And then, like, I heard that Brian said there's 2 exclusives, and he said that one is a repaint. And I was thinking, like, a repaint? I'm thinking, I don't think he's gonna do an LJN color deco as a repaint. So I was thinking maybe they're doing like maybe Chitara. You know how Chitara, when she ran, did she change color or anything like that? Maybe it's like,
Not necessarily. She had lots of sparks and that all around her.
Mhm.
But I know that I don't think we're going to get another lino, but there is a lino where he's all blue, or Snarf where he's all blue when they go into the Book of Omens. They're like glowing blue. So I don't know if we're going to get a blue Snarf going into the Book of Omens. I have no idea, but I mean, who
That's like
knows?
deep cut. I mean, there's
They
so
like.
many things to do, like, oh man, I really want an automaton because automaton would be perfect to display fighting, uh, to fighting. Damn, what's his freaking name right
With
now?
Hachiman, the
Hachiman.
automaton.
Yeah, and
Yes.
then I had a fan asking me like they should have done the Jade Dragon as an accessory for Hachiman. And he's like, it's a very episode specific accessory or whatever, but there's just so many things I could think of, and I wish I knew like what's in the horizon. I know for sure we know Wave 9 is going to give us uh Wily Cat. So that's awesome because then we finally have the core team completed. But then from Wave 10 and beyond, it's like, wow, we need Claudius for sure. So Claudius would probably be a really good choice for Wave 10 because before they start going into variations of the core characters, we should go into like Claudius. I would love to see the Thunderian Guard. Maybe do it as a
Jagara
maybe two,
as well.
yeah, Jagara, do 2 different versions of the Thunderian Guard to have like arc
Yes.
builders like they did with the reptilians. So it's just, man, I could go on and on with like my wish list and things that I want to see next. But yeah, pretty much it's been really fun, man, catching up with you and talking shop.
Thank you.
When I get my Thunder Tank and my LJNs, we'll geek out again.